What up, YouTube? It's your boy E Sutton. I'm back. I'm going to finish my small forwards right now. I'm going to give you four, three, two, and one. Number one, I'm going to jump right into it. Number four, Big Game James. That's what they called James Worthy back in the 80s, and rightfully so. Growing up, we used to run fast breaks in the backyard of my boy Blake's crib. He was James Worthy. Dave was Magic. Kevin was James Worthy. I was Byron Scott. Big Game James, I think it's underrated because people think, well, he was one of them Lakers with Magic, Kareem, and those boys and so on. But when they give you the nickname Big Game James and you're playing with Magic and Kareem, that says a lot about your game. The '88 Finals stands out to me because we all knew Magic gets triple doubles and so on. We knew what you're gonna get for Kareem. Byron Scott was going to knock down jump shots. We knew the bench had Coop and guys like that. AC Green was a very solid starter. James Worthy was the one in Game 7 of the '88 Finals who had the triple double up, 35, 10, and 10, and they couldn't do anything with him. And when I say they, we're talking about the bad boy Pistons. Dennis Rodman, John Sally, and I mentioned those names because they were the ones who were in charge of defense. When I say Dennis Rodman couldn't do nothing with him, that says a lot about James Worthy's game. I've heard people say, run the court like a Clydesdale. Nobody got on the wing better than James Worthy. He would steal. And if you ever watch James Worthy dribble, he's going to steal it, and then he's dribbling it, and he's leaning forward like, come get the ball, Magic. He would take a couple dribbles, flick it back to Magic, off to the races. And if you don't believe me, we're on YouTube. Go YouTube James Worthy. Take you back to the '87 Finals. And my boy Blake, if you see this, we had this on tape. The first two plays of the game were in the post of Worthy. He goes, okay. It was Kevin. It was a 7-footer that was guarding him. Worthy had, nice move, give you a little shoulder up, under, layup. And we're off to the races. And once again, the best part of that sequence was watching Michael Cooper on the bench. He had a towel, and my interpretation is like, get him. And Worthy went right to work. That's why Worthy is number 4. That's why he's ahead of Pippen, Dominique, and some of the other ones I've mentioned previously. Big Game James, number 3. NBA legend, Hall of Famer, of course. The one-time general manager of the Los Angeles Clippers. One of the first people that I heard, I think he might have been the first person I heard call Donald Sterling a racist. Elgin Baylor. I never had the pleasure of watching Elgin Baylor play, but by all accounts, he was a scoring machine. I believe he stood about 6'5", but he could get buckets. I mentioned when I was talking about Barkley, when I was talking about the power forward, Barkley holds the record for the most points in a regulation NBA playoff game with 56. Jordan, 63, but he broke Elgin Baylor's record of 61. Elgin Baylor could get buckets. Anytime you're scoring 61 points in the playoff, and I believe it was against the Bill Russell-led Celtics. I mean, you're great. Never got a chance to win a championship. I want to say they won their first title as a Lakers the year he retired. So, but I'm not going to take that away from Mr. Elgin Baylor. Anybody who knows basketball better than me, very few, but anybody who knows basketball and had a chance to watch him to a man or a woman, I'm sure there are a few out there, they'll tell you Elgin Baylor could get buckets. And here we are to the last two and the number 1 small forward of all time. It took me a while to decide how I was going to go with this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go with what I think it is, what I think it should be. Number 2, 1986. You probably mentioned a Converse Weapons commercial previously. The last person in that commercial, His line was, after everybody said what the Converse weapons had done for them, his line was, well, you already know what they did for me. Everybody says, what? I walked away with the MVP. Larry Joe Bird, the hit from French Lick, a nickname he gave himself. So don't want to know why you call him that. That's what Larry Bird said. Larry Bird, I didn't like him growing up. Why you didn't like him? Because I knew growing up that was the biggest threat to my Lakers. That plain and simple. Had nothing to do with his skill set. None of that. I mean, because I'm a Laker fan, I'll never admit you can probably put him ahead of Magic Johnson. Because as a passer, he dropped dimes. As a scorer, we all know what he did as a scorer. And if you don't know, look up those numbers. From 84 to 88, Larry Bird had a legitimate gripe. He could have been an MVP each one of those years. The stats said that we know the Celtics were winning, but he didn't. But he earned it. He earned my number two small forward. I still say Larry Bird is better than Dirk Nowitzki. Mavericks fan, man, how you gonna say that? Because I watched the game. I watched those games. While some of y'all out there playing in your front yard, joking around, might have been playing Nintendo. I was watching those games. I mean, one of the best games, the game Magic hit the hook to beat the Celtics. Go back and watch that. The sequence of plays. I mean, it started with a Bird three. Magic goes back and hits a hook. The shot that Bird missed that would have won the game, I remember thinking about, and anybody who watched that game would think that's going in. I never forget it. I mean, it was June 9th, 1987. What up, Blake? That was my boy Kevin's birthday. He was a Celtics fan. And to this day, if you watch that replay, it's almost like, ooh, how did he miss it? I mean, Michael Thompson's running out at him. And one thing about basketball, if you ever played, a lot of times you might shoot your shot flat, but when somebody is coming at you, you have to get the proper arch and all that good stuff on it. And when you release, if you can get your proper release, 9 times out of 10, it can be bucking down. Number one, LeBron James. What can you say that's negative about LeBron James? Everywhere he's gone since he left Cleveland the first time, they've gone to the NBA Finals. They lost. Okay, but they got there. Anybody who sits there and said, well, but they lost, your team probably wasn't in the finals. Let that sink in. So LeBron's the number one small forward of all time on my list. I'm not going to compare him to Jordan because I don't think that's fair to LeBron James. But what he does, he's one of the most unselfish players that I've ever watched. Anytime you say your biggest critique of a player is, I mean, he should be dominant. He should be scoring 40, but he doesn't. He makes sure everybody gets their shot, so to speak. And when I say shot, I mean everybody's going to get some touches. And we've seen him average 40 in the NBA Finals to the point where we almost wanted, some of us were like, yeah, he probably should get the MVP. But LeBron James, and I'm not saying this just because he's in LA now. Please don't get it twisted. But what LeBron has done, and I'm not going to even talk about his off the court things, his charitable, his giving to charities, opening up a school for the underprivileged, however you want to slice it. But this guy has earned the right. I think he's already at 30,000 points. He's earned the right, in my book, to be the number one small forward of all time. LeBron James, I mean, you got to give it to him. Just that simple. I wanted to get KD in this, and I probably could have. I think I got, and I owe you guys an apology. Who wants to say where's KD? I owe you guys an apology. But when I look back on it, I probably could have snuck him in. I think I got caught up in the 80s because that's the time I came up in watching the game. But Kevin, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make an extra spot for Kevin Durant. We're gonna put him in a top 10 with Grant Hill and those guys because I think to watch him and people he left OKC. Okay, you would have left OKC too. A lot of y'all don't like Westbrook, but he takes the criticisms like gives y'all the middle finger. F you, I'm gonna give me 2 rings and 30 mil. MVP of both NBA finals. I thought Steph should have won this most previous one, but that we're not going to be labor on that point. So there you have it. My top 10 small forwards. I'm going to hit y'all with the top 10. I might shrink it, the shooting guards to 5 because football season is coming up. I want to dive right into that because the preseason is winding up as well. So look, for those who have watched this, hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to hit y'all with the shooting guards in a couple of days, next week.